Hi everybody, this is Janet Wright, and this is going to be a video where I'm walking you through some exercises so that you can work on your own clairvoyance or your ability to see your own energy and other people's energy. So these videos are part of the videos for the late July triplet set. The second set of the month, July 2018, and the theme of that set is Clairvoyance, Viewing Others. So I wanted to, in addition to making technique videos, which I will be doing, so that you can learn, if you want, any or all of the techniques that are being used in that triplet set, I felt like it was time to just make some extra videos so you can just learn different ways to read people, some discussion videos about the ethics, you know, like being a good karma reader, kind of being respectful as a reader of other people. And so I'm just gonna give it a whirl. So for starters, I wanted to actually pick an example that you can look at of a person that you know of, I mean, you're not buddies with this person, most likely, but President Trump, President Donald Trump of the United States. There recently was a pretty famous or infamous summit that he had in Helsinki with Putin, and the angels actually thought that would be a good example for me to walk you through reading energy and explaining a few things. So first, let's get really centered, because that's always really important. When you're just reading yourself, you can be pretty uncentered and just kind of center yourself as part of the reading healing process because you're just reading yourself. But if you're reading someone else, you want to already be centered because there are ethics involved and safety boundary issues involved that are unique to viewing other people. Okay, so if you're really, really uncentered, then you need aura repair. So that's an 18-minute video that you could just go and do right now called Gold Energy Aura Buffer Zones. Gold Energy Aura Buffer Zones. But I will just walk you through a very quick centering, assuming that you're already okay. All right, so let's go ahead, close your eyes if you want. And be aware of your aura, which is an energy bubble all around you. And it's probably about 1.5 to 2 feet all the way around you. So above your head, below your body, behind you, to each side. For me, it's like, if I spread my arms out, if I spread my, my fingertips out like this, that's a little bit longer than my aura, but a little bit wider than my aura, but not much. So if I bring in my hands kind of like this on each side, then that's about where my aura is. So it's hard to show you, but like that. If I extend my arm out, that's as wide as my aura pretty much, because I like a big aura. And I have long arms. So anyway, go ahead and choose red, orange, or yellow grounding for yourself, whatever's going to help you to release the most right now. And what I do with that sometimes is I just use my intuition. Sometimes I just try out each one real fast. So make a red grounding, see how much that releases. Make an orange grounding, see how much that releases. And make a yellow grounding, see how much that releases. Okay, so for me, yellow was much more productive at that moment, but at a different time it'll be different. So there's no rule. If you need a little background about grounding, is as wide as your aura. Ideally, I think it should go up, well, I don't like should, sounds so rigid, but it could go up as high as your third chakra right here, which is, you know, right below where your sternum bone ends. Your sternum bone goes down like that, and where that ends, that's your third chakra. So you can bring it up that high and all the way down to the core of the earth, and just make sure it stays wide all the way down like a waterfall, as shown in this amazing drawing. All right, so just imagine whichever color you picked, imagine your grounding is that wide, and just let it flow downward like a big waterfall. And just take a few deep breaths, just to think about letting go. Maybe, you know, your stresses, you can imagine them like rocks that you're dropping down your grounding. Or rain, maybe, you know, you can imagine whatever emotional burdens or stresses, like rain that's falling all the way down and getting absorbed by the core of the earth. And let's do a one color earth energy soak. So whatever color grounding you picked, just go ahead and use your grounding like a straw and bring up that color, earth energy, all the way from the core of the earth, all the way up to the top of your aura. So again, you're bringing up red or orange or yellow earth energy all the way from the core of the earth at that color all the way up, 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 up to soak completely in it. Okay, and that's called an earth energy soak. And it's just an extra process to kind of center you and comfort you. And maybe one extra thing, redo your gold energy aura buffer zones. And that is, again, in that video, gold energy aura buffer zones, if you don't know. And definitely recommend those. And then I would say one last thing that would be good, at least for me, is, and I think for you too, you imagine a copy of your aura out in front of you, like a big round bubble, and just kind of comb through it and get the gold light, you know, washing everything out down your grounding that you need to release. And then maybe a little bit like this, like above your head, upward you comb, and then below your body you comb down this way. So like comb upward here and downward here, because it just sort of gets everything a little bit more relaxed than in your aura. Sometimes your aura can get too compressed, you know, like compressed here and compressed underneath you. So this kind of relaxes your resistance, helps you to release. All right, good. So, and why don't you, you know, just for good measure, just ask your angels for a quick healing and a blessing. You know, just say with your mind, angels, can you please give me a healing and a blessing? Okay. So, we're going to be, I'm going to walk you through an exercise where you visualize the energy of Donald Trump, President of the US currently. And, I mean, just as an aside, you know, I'm a Democrat in the US. Politically speaking, I did not vote for Trump. And there are many ways that you can talk about somebody, you know, but when you're reading, you really got to nail the non-judgment. So, you know, if, you know, I was talking to my husband or something, you know, we were just relaxed, blah, 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 I would not be this even when I'm talking about Donald Trump. But as a reader, you need to nail that. You need to nail the non-judgment. Okay, so if you can't be non-judgmental just momentarily, you know, for this exercise about Donald Trump, I mean, I'd say give it a whirl. I think maybe you can. You might surprise yourself, because you can ask for angel help. You know, angels, help me to do this with non-judgment, you know, and it could really help you evolve, you know. And then later, 2 hours later, you could be talking to somebody about Trump and switch out of non-judgment into some judgment if you wish. But like I said, I just work with me here, you know, and rock the non-judgment, okay? So anyway, When you view from your 6th chakra behind your forehead, you're in non-judgment. So that means Donald Trump is not good. He's not bad. He just is. Okay? You just observe his behaviors. You observe his actions, his inaction, whatever. You observe the whole thing like an owl. You know, you're an observer. Okay? And the reason that the angels chose him as the exercise is because obviously he's been in the news a lot. And I think, you know, one of the reasons is because it would help people to at least momentarily switch out of judgment, you know, to clear their blocked energy. And also because he does not have a lot of privacy. So we're not creating bad karma by inviting you to read his chakras a little bit, you know, because the whole world is observing him constantly. So I'm not taking away a level of his privacy that isn't already gone, basically. And what I will be walking you through reading is basically the energy between him and Putin during that summit and the news conferences at the Helsinki summit that happened this past week. So again, it was very, you know, all over the world. The reporters, everything is very public. So this is not bad karma for me, which is great because karma is real. So I think it's, you know, that's why the angels picked it. It's just a good thing to practice with. And also it's a very good illustration of why you want to have boundaries as a reader. And not judgment, because you don't want to connect to the person's energy. And if you're accidentally judging them, you may connect to their energy because you're not viewing from here anymore. If you're judging, you might be down here and viewing from perhaps a blocked heart chakra. And then, you know, things are right, things are wrong. And you may, like I said, you may accidentally connect to that person's energy. You really don't want to go there, obviously, with this situation. And you'll see why as we go on with the exercise. Okay, so for now, I think that's a good enough intro. And what I want to say too is, as a reader, if at first all you see is black, you know, I wouldn't let that discourage you. You know, that's what was happening for me when I started reading. You know, all I could see was black, but I just kept practicing. And I mean, if you do other videos of mine, you'll get more and more present. And so then the chances of you seeing more than just black increase. The more present you get, the more chakras you're in general, the more grounded you are, the better you can read and visualize energy consciously. But anyway, okay. So first of all, just, you know, talk to your angels, ask your angels, you know, be grounded, have that big waterfall you just created, red or orange or yellow, and have your gold energy or buffer zones, and just ask your angels for help. Just say, you know, whatever version of it you want, but just say, angels, you know, I want to practice clairvoyance. Please help me to do this in a karmically clean way. You know, please help me to be safe. Please help me to be karmically clean. And, you know, so just ask your angels that. You know, angels, please help me to have non-judgment. Okay, awesome. So for me, what the angels made is they kind of made like a little gold fence in front of me. So I think I don't really need it in order to be safe because I'm a very experienced reader, but I think they did that on purpose just to maybe show me that that's what I can explain to others. So, you know, maybe you create have your angels create a little pretty fence, but a little pretty gold fence, you know, in front of you, so that the idea is you stay on your side of the fence. Okay. So, what we're gonna do is visualize, let's visualize Donald Trump on okay. I think it's pretty well known that he likes to do campaign rallies, you know, even though now he's a president and the election if he were to run again, it's you know, more than 2 years away, but he still does these campaign rally kind of things where he'll go out and, you know, somewhere where he has a lot of fans, you know, and he'll have this big rally. So if you look at how present is Donald Trump during a recent campaign rally, and so what I would suggest is now when you look, you have like a movie screen out in front of you. You're not going to Donald Trump, you're staying here. Okay, so you should feel your skin, wiggle your toes. You're just as present as if you're counting your fingers, okay? And you, in your 6th layer out in front of you, right? Each aura layer wraps around your whole body, right? So your 6th chakra, which is here, generates the 6th layer of your aura, which is the outermost, well, almost the outermost layer. It's one in from there, okay? So you don't have to worry about that though, but it's just that sort of a more advanced point in case you're curious. But you just make a movie screen out in front of you, you know, and it will happen to be there in your 6th layer, but don't worry about it. Just place it wherever it feels comfortable for you. And so you're kind of just watching a movie, right? Easy peasy, right? You can have some popcorn or some tea as you watch your movie, right? And just, you watch a movie of Donald Trump at a campaign rally, okay, and he's up on a podium and he's talking and he's saying, yay, lock her up, yay, you know, whatever he normally says. And look for his body and then look for his spirit. So where is Donald Trump's spirit and where is Donald Trump's body during your average campaign rally? He says, oh yeah, no collusion, right? So, when I'm looking at his body, and this is something that, you know, is a regular skill, okay? This is not about Donald Trump. It's just a reading exercise that we can all do, okay? So at your average campaign rally, when Donald Trump's saying, you know, all those catchphrases that his fans really love and they're cheering, he's in his 7th chakra in the top of his head, his 6th chakra, and his 5th chakra, his throat chakra. You would think he could be in his 4th, which is heart chakra, which is, you know, like enthusiasm. Because, you know, he has all these fans yelling and screaming in favor of what he's saying, but it doesn't look like generally he gets into his 4th chakra during these rallies. So at his most present lately, well, really, yeah, in general in these rallies, he's in 7, 6, and 5. So 5th is about communicating, so that's not a total shock, right? But he's not in 4, 3, 2, or 1 during these campaign events. His grounding is, it's interesting, you know, it's like, I don't really see like a grounding the way I would normally with people, you know, I guess there is one. It's kind of narrow, maybe about 6 inches wide going down. And it seems like though he'll have like 3 people that travel with him that send energy down towards where his grounding would be to kind of make, out of their own energy, make a grounding for him. So it's kind of like they're planting his body, you know, in this grounding that they've made to kind of, you know, make sure that he says the right things and he shows up on time and he cracks all the right jokes and kind of feels supported. So it seems like it's more really of 3 different people in his grounding with his consent, you know, that they're kind of managing and running him during the rally. So kids, don't do that at home. You know, this is nothing I would ever recommend, you know, to be that checked out and then have people actually in your grounding like that. Generally that's, you know, you're just not going to feel right that way. You can be pretty unstable that way. But you know, as a reading exercise, I think it's nice to talk about. So that's it. So he has other people in his grounding in a big way, but they're his people. It's like it's an agreement that they have with him and he has with them. He pays them to manage him, to essentially to control him, you know. But he's kind of, you know, pulling their strings, but they're giving their energy to him to stabilize him. Again, not something I would recommend, you know, that's like healthy energy work. But, and then, you know, there's a lot of energy running through him, not so much from the crowd, but, there's like a lot of white energy, coming in the back of his aura through really all of his chakras. Less so 7, 6, and 5, because he's there. But there's like a lot of white cloudiness, bright white cloudiness that just is in particularly 4, 3, 2, 1, like his mid and lower chakras of his physical body. You know, and that's just a bunch of beings and stuff. Yeah, that doesn't look like people. So anyway, it's good as a reader to just, you know, keep centering yourself. Don't get caught up in that image, you know, like, yeah, okay, fine. You know, he's doing these things. This is what he's doing, you know, just stay here behind, you know, you don't be here, you be there, you know, in your 6th chakra, but just, you know, lightly touch your forehead, just kind of recenter, feel your toes, feel your legs, you know, just relax, be able to let go of what you're looking at and just notice how do you feel, because it's very easy when you are reading to get triggered. And that's why you want to have great grounding and great flow, because then maybe, like as I was reading that, probably about 80% of what I was reading, you know, that got triggered within me just released down my grounding automatically because of the flow that I already have and the downward flow and everything. But 20% of what got triggered is still triggered for me. So right now I have a little bit of tightness right here, a little bit of tightness right here, a little bit of tightness up here, a little bit of tightness here. So I just need to take a moment, you know, and just recenter. And, you know, I think maybe you would too, because you're a less experienced reader, perhaps, than I am, most likely. I mean, never know. I have some very gifted viewers. But anyway, experienced in this life, perhaps, less experienced. So go ahead, let's just do another earth energy soak. That's always easy. So pick probably a different color grounding, so red or orange or yellow, just to change pace for a second. And make your grounding that wide and make it go all the way down to the core of the earth at that color. I'm going to do red this time. And then use your grounding like a straw and bring up a whole bunch of earth energy at that color. So I'm going to bring up red earth energy up, all the way up to the top of my aura. And you can do that too, to the top of your aura. And just soak in that. And stacking and clearing is a really nice technique. I have a recent video which I like a lot called Stacking and Clearing 3 Ways. But I think we could maybe just do a sort of a general version of that. Just out in front of you, you know, just maybe make some piles of blocked energy out in front of you. And so I'm going to make whatever's triggered right now for you. In having read what you just read, and maybe just because of whatever's going on today for you, right? So just a bunch of piles of energy blocks out in front of you that would be good for you to clear right now. And just, you know, this is another way to read, right? Just imagine, look at the piles of your energy blocks that you just put out in front of you that are triggered, and just count the piles, either with your intuition, your imagination, or your vision. So I have six piles, which, you know, it's just a way to get you back in here to invite you to notice something visual. Because maybe you're viewing from here, maybe you're a little popped out, but if you say, whoa, gee, how many piles are there? You're more likely to pop in here to try to look and see. Okay, but however many there are, it's fine. Just bring up red earth energy and soak all your piles with the red earth energy. And then use gold light from your hands and your fingertips. And just wash out any energy cords that might be going into these piles. And just melt away the piles. Well, melt away the cords, and then just move out of resistance, because like part of you is the glue keeping those piles from clearing. So just talk to that part of you that's the glue, subconsciously the glue, and just say, it's okay, I can let go. I can let go. I can move out of resistance. I don't have to be the glue. I can be the flow. Deep breath. Awesome. So all my piles cleared, but I still have a little bit of tightness right here. For me, you may have it somewhere else. And I still have a little bit here too. So why don't you, everybody, redo your gold energy aura buffer zones, and then just comb through a version of your aura. So like here's your bubble, right? Make a bubble for your aura and just comb through it and see what's going on. For me, while I was doing that exercise with you guys, I actually got stuff thrown at me, which is what the tightness is. I actually have little spears. I have a recent walkthrough. It's a little long. It's like 40 minutes or something, 40 plus minutes, but it talks about hard energy. The name in the title is Porcupine. It's I think it's called Aura Repair, but then the porcupine is in the title because of the little hard spear devices that people can throw. Makes you look like a porcupine in a way, you know? So anyway, just take out, if you got any hard spears in your aura just now, or you have them from before, just go ahead, take them out, give them to your angels. And then go ahead and melt any rips and tears in your aura that you might have gotten. And then another nice thing to do is just extra combing through the bottom layers of your aura, because your grounding may be releasing well now, but you want to, if this is hard right here, then it sort of holds everything in. Whereas if this starts to flow again, then everything can release that needs to release. So just comb that bottom part of your grounding underneath, the bottom part of your aura underneath you. So just imagine that part of your grounding out in front of you. And again, that's the part that wraps underneath your body. And just imagine that part and just comb through it. Gold light, just imagine, hey, I can let go, I can let go. All right, great. So let's read a little more. Let's read, let's read Donald Trump at the Helsinki summit. So there were two like press conferences or something. One was where they were standing and one was where they were sitting. They meaning Donald Trump and Putin. So let's do the one where they were standing, okay? So they were standing at these two podiums that were actually pretty close to each other. And so just imagine their bodies and their spirits. So, and again, just say, angels, can you help me do this totally safely in a super karmically clean way? Right? Because no matter what you believe politically, you want to have good karma, you know, and it's important if you're going to use clairvoyance, which, I mean, it's up to you, but I consider clairvoyance kind of it's a gift. I mean, everyone has a sixth chakra, therefore everyone has clairvoyance, but there's a lot of divine assistance with it, angel help. And so to use that gift, you want to be respectful. You want to follow like angel rules, and so angels don't want you to hurt anybody with your clairvoyance. So even if you don't like Trump or you don't like Putin, this is not the time for that kind of behavior. You really want to just nail the non-judgment and only observe, like really behave for your karma, for the sake of yourself, for your own self-interest, behave, okay? So you're just visualizing Trump and Putin, their physical bodies and then their spirits, okay? And visualize any chords in between them. So you're just watching, you're using your movie screen, right? And so there's Trump and there's Putin. And the chords, man, going from one to the other. It's pretty amazing. So energy chords, they look like strings or lines of light that, go horizontally from, say, the seventh chakra of one person to the seventh chakra of the other person, from the first chakra of one person to the first chakra of the other person. And, I think this is a great example of a ton of chording, because, and even people who don't read energy clairvoyantly, don't know chakras, whatever, they have commented about that conference, that press conference, that it looked like Putin like owned Trump, like that Trump was this scared little boy or very obedient. And for the first time in the US, they've been talking more and more about, okay, is Trump really like owned by Putin? Like, what does Putin have on him? Yada, yada. So if you look at the energy chords, I mean, when they're standing there, I mean, from what I can see, Putin is courting Trump at the 7th, not at the 6th, definitely at the 5th, not at the 4th, at the 3rd for sure, at the 2nd and at the 1st. So most chakras, Putin is courting Trump and sending energy, sending his energy into Trump's energy field. Into his chakras, directly into his chakras, which is really the most invasive way to access somebody. And again, kids, do not try that at home. Super bad karma, But, as an observer, you can observe and learn, because again, this is an extreme situation, very extreme situation of courting. But, it's good to learn, to practice visualizing, and again, just be like, angels, help me to do this safely with clean boundaries, with non-judgment. Okay, so again, like I'm saying, and if I look at, okay, say I just look at one of those energy chords, intuitively, if I just pick, okay, which one of those energy chords is most significant energetically, because they're really pretty giant, each one of them. The 7th, the 5th, the 3rd, 2nd, and 1st. The angels are pointing to the 7th chakra one for me. So, I mean, they're all a big deal, but the 7th chakra one, there's white energy. So Putin is sending Trump a white energy. And it's definitely got that vibe of like, we agreed you're going to say this. This is what you're going to say. This is what you're going to do. It's very much like, keep to the script. I told you what to say. So it's pretty interesting. And Putin, if you look at his physical body and his spirit, Putin at that moment when they're at the podiums and everything and Donald Trump is speaking, Putin is in 7, 6, 5, and 4. Not in 3, 2, or 1. But I don't think Putin is generally in 3. Well, is he in 3 on a daily basis? No. Sometimes he's in his 3rd chakra, his physical body 3rd chakra, which is right here. But maybe a few times a week. So I don't know, maybe he works out or something. Something gets him into his 3rd a few of times a week. But anyway, so he was in 7, 6, 5, and 4. When he's sending all that energy to Trump. And Trump at that moment, I mean, I'm kind of surprised he was able to say anything with all that energy going through his body. But he was barely in his 7th chakra. Yeah. So he was not present, almost not present in any physical body chakra, Donald Trump, when they were both standing during that Helsinki conference or whatever, the little talk after their, I think the stand-up one was after their secret 2-hour meeting that nobody listened in on. Well, that no one outside of them was able to hear. But anyway, so Trump is like barely in his 7th chakra, which makes sense because, I mean, how could you be present with that much of somebody else's energy running through your physical body? But anyway, so enough of that. It's information. It's, but the thing is, it's interesting too, because everybody's a reader kind of, I mean, because I'm sure there were a lot of news people that saw that news conference and thought, wow, Trump is like Putin's puppet, and technically what is a puppet but, something that is being pulled by strings, something that doesn't have its own will and is being pulled by strings. So that's actually kind of literally true at that moment, that, the puppet who's controlling Trump's body at that moment literally was Putin. The thing is, Trump standing out there letting it happen, I mean, he has his staff with him at the convention, whatever. So he had, even if Putin is able to court him a lot, he still had his people that he could have kind of surrounded himself with, and they could have created a protective shell around him. So somehow, he's allowing this to happen for reasons, whatever reasons. So anyway, I hope that makes sense and was interesting to you. And so now let's clear a little bit of energy, because, that may be triggering to see that. It may be fun. It may be actually a release and less triggering to be able to understand the psychic side of it. But just in case, let's redo your grounding. So go ahead and, red or orange or yellow, whichever you want, make a big grounding all the way around you. And again, this beautiful drawing will remind you maybe. So red or orange or yellow grounding, going all the way down to the core of the earth and all the way up to your 3rd chakra. And let's see. Yeah, I think for me, yellow this time, I'm releasing the most with yellow. So, and then just turn your grounding into a straw and bring an extra amount of earth energy up. I mean, grounding is both ways. You release down it, and you naturally will bring up some, but this earth energy soak, you're bringing up an extra amount, just like the trees would do for you if you're in a forest. So just bring up lots of extra earth energy at that color that you chose. So I'm bringing up yellow earth energy all the way up, and I just like saying that. My inner child really likes that. So, and my inner child likes moving my hands too. So just soak in that earth energy and just relax and breathe. As a reader, you gotta find your center. Some things are going to trigger, and you may not know why things triggered you. I mean, you could read it, of course, but in the moment, you may not realize why, but you still need to address it. Just take a minute. Even if you're a pro reader, maybe take a drink of tea, take a moment, to regroup, recenter. Because you don't want to keep working or keep reading, for yourself when you're not centered. That's just not productive anymore if you're not centered. So go ahead and imagine a copy of your grounding out in front of you and just comb through it. with gold light from your hands. And you can even do DGS. DGS is for Divine Gold Sandstorm. And I have a lot of DGS videos in the Quick Flow playlist. But anyway, DGS is like little tiny bits of gold light that you just spin around real fast around wherever you're working. So in this case, around your grounding, just to make sure everything is flowing downward. So because I have like little clogged pieces of energy that aren't quite clearing, like down my grounding. So I'm just using extra DGS to just kind of make sure they go down. Oh, that's nice. I have a couple more. I think this is another reason why the angels wanted me to use the Trump-Putin example, because it's triggering for a lot of people. So it's good to read it. So then you clear your triggers. When you clear your triggers and you're no longer triggered by a situation as much or maybe at all, you could still take action, but it'll be from a really different place. You know, or you can also choose to just, you know, focus on other things after that when you're not so triggered. So again, like the center part of my grounding, like the most inner part, the inner core, I have a lot of energy blocks up and down there, which is pretty common. But I'm just gonna focus on extra gold light there. I don't have anybody courting there, but I just have it's like a bunch of rocks that just need to release. So I'm just saying hi to that resistant part of me, and I'm like, it's okay, it's all right, I'm safe. So I think, you know, for a lot of people, if you feel that your leader is, you know, not trustworthy, perhaps, it can be very triggering from situations from this life or past life situations. So if you feel like, you know, maybe Trump is your leader, you know, politically speaking in your country, or maybe just, you know, he's a powerful figure with a big military, you know. So to think that he's being controlled by somebody else may be potentially triggering, you know. So go ahead and just melt away the hard pieces of energy that are triggered in your energy field from observing that. And again, stacking and clearing 3 ways is a really good follow-up, particularly if you feel like you're a little scattered after this. But to do a mini version, just stacking and clearing 1 way, let's say, just make some piles out in front of you of energy blocks that are triggered right now. Maybe from that reading exercise you just did, or maybe just for other reasons, it doesn't matter. Just a bunch of energy blocks out in front of you. Mine at this point look like a big row of books, you know, out in front of me. But it doesn't matter what they look like, and just bring up the red earth energy and soak all those energy blocks that are healthy and gentle for you to clear right now. And then gold light, just melt away any energy cords going into those energy blocks. And if you don't see the energy blocks, just follow along and use your intention, which also works fine. Okay? That's why these visualization exercises are practice, you know, because the more you practice, the more it helps. So don't worry if you can't see yet, okay? And just melt away the cords from those energy blocks with the gold light, and then move out of resistance. Just imagine that part of you that's clutching onto the energy blocks by accident. That part of you is a glue, and just talk to that part of you into being the flow. I don't have to be the glue, I can be the flow. Deep breath. All right. So let's just, you know, ask your angels for healing and a blessing. And, you know, too, a nice follow-up may be to do a little journaling, or, you know, just be outside, or, you know, have a nice protein meal, or have a cup of tea, something nurturing, something fun. Okay, so angels, can you please give me a healing and a blessing? Oh, and then a nice way to end also is there's this, it's a separate video if you want a video just on that, but I think it's called Angel Clean Out Planetary Darkness, something like that is in the title, Angel Clean Out Planetary Darkness. But you can just say, you know, and because sometimes you might want to say, well, my goodness, you know, Trump and Putin, they're channeling this energy that's not positive and blah, blah, blah. What can I do? Yeah, well, obviously you can vote if you live in the US and you can vote in a US election. The midterms are coming soon and they're very important. But you can also do something now. You can say, well, now you could also donate maybe to a political cause that you like. But on a purely spiritual level, you can ask your angels to clean out planetary darkness energy from all the people on the planet and all the governments on the planet and all the government officials on the planet. Okay? So angels, can you please clean out planetary darkness energy from all the people on the planet, all the government officials on the planet, all the governments in the planet? All right, good job. Okay, so I hope that was interesting and or helpful. And I'm looking forward to finding out through your comments. So please post some comments under the video so that I can tell what this was like for you. And if you do want other people to see it, the comments will help with that. And also you could give the video a thumbs up and that would also help. Okay, bye.